whatever term you want to put on it. He didn't give up a lot of receptions. He didn't give up a lot of yards, but he gave up a huge completion percentage and he gave up a huge passer rating. You know,
All right. So, yeah, come on over, Johnny Mac. We'll get some beer, some girls. We'll do some stuff that we probably shouldn't do or talk about here on Birds 365. Maybe we should stick to the football. Anyway, 14 days counting down to the draft. No major rumors today. We'll create a couple of them for you. There was one piece of news in Eagle land yesterday, and that was Steven Nelson officially becoming an ex-Philadelphia Eagle, signed a 2-year deal with the Houston Texans. Original reports, and we'll see what the details are. You always got to wait because you never know who's giving out the details. 2-year, $10 million deal. Seeing as he played on a 1-year, $2.5 million deal for the Eagles, good for Steven Nelson. He got a pretty good payday. Whether the second year is a faux year or not, we'll find out over a period of time. But I thought Steven Nelson was a fine quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Not a star, not a needle mover, but not a handicap either. And one thing that only Jonathan Gannon knows for sure is, did he do his job in the Eagle defense? I've seen a bunch of stats put out there that quarterbacks averaged over 100 for a quarterback rating in plays he was playing on. I think that's what he was asked to do in the Eagle defense. They play a lot of zone, and they're willing to give up underneath stuff. So, yeah, there were going to be a bunch of passes completed against him, but I don't remember him getting burnt. Guy we mentioned yesterday on the show, Jalen Mills, who I always liked. I liked him when he was here. I liked him. And people remember the big plays that he gave up over the top. And how do we play this? Guy's always getting burnt. Yeah, but he made plays too. Yeah. That wasn't what Steven Nelson did in the Eagle defense. He kept guys in front of him. Yeah, he gave up some passes, but he didn't get burnt for any big plays. I think the Eagles are actually going to miss him. Do you?
Yeah, depending on, obviously, if they get a corner in the first round, maybe not. But if they're throwing Zach McPherson out there, yeah, they're going to miss him. They're going to miss him. And competency is the way I describe Steve Nelson as the opposite corner to Darius Slay, and that's bigger than people realize because there's a lot of incompetency in the NFL at cornerback. He knows how to play. He did, in a lot of ways, you're right, Jody. He did what he was asked. He did what he was told. He's a microcosm almost of Jonathan Gannon's defense. Whether you want to call it bend or don't break or whatever term you want to put on it. He didn't give up a lot of receptions. He didn't give up a lot of yards, but he gave up a huge completion percentage and he gave up a huge passer rating, because everything was underneath. And that's what the Eagles were trying to do. And they were trying to make people go on 16, 17 play drives, those long drives where the mentality is, well, eventually you're going to make a mistake, holding penalty, bad pass, drop football. And too often they gave up those long drives, but that's another story. Yeah, I thought he was a fine player, but he's one of those guys who, the NFL's weird. They have their mindset and they want guys who can run at corner, and he's not that blazing 4-4 guy, and he doesn't have the tremendous length. Like the Eagles love Tate Allen because he's so long and he's so fast. And all right, he's a 6th-round pick. Go throw him out there, see what happens. There's more to playing cornerback than just being really, really long and really, really fast. And look, you and I have talked about this a lot, and the fact that we both agree, I think there's no such thing as a lockdown corner anymore in the NFL. The closest you're going to get is Darius Slay. He's top 5 corner in this league. Eagles already got one. If that's your definition, a block down corner to top 5 corner, they got one. So you can't have I guess you can mathematically, but it's very unlikely you're going to have 2 top 5 corners at the same time. So what you're looking for on the other side is what Steven Nelson offered you. And I thought, and Steve Nelson, I should, he likes to be called Steve, and everybody calls him Steven. So I want to show him his proper respect as he gets out of town. So I'm happy for him. He did a good job. He came in 2 days before camp. And, he was a big upgrade because remember, that was the plan. They didn't have anything else. So they were going to throw a 4th-round rookie out there. And you got to see Zach McPherson a little bit when Darius Slay had some concussion issues. A couple games he went out early, and obviously they rested everybody week 18, I guess, against Dallas. Small sample size, but it wasn't great. And I always use that term that Jim Schwartz gave me because I love it, startup costs. Now, maybe if he was forced into action week 1, he would have got better, and he would have got better, and he would have been okay by the end of the season, but you would have had some significant growing pains. And I think the Eagles are going to draft a cornerback in those top 51 picks. Yeah, depending on how the board falls, maybe it's not 15, maybe it's not even 18, but 51. One of those 3 picks is going to be a cornerback because no matter what Nick Sirianni says at the league meetings, they can't be comfortable with Zach McPherson and Tay Gowan and Kerry Vincent Jr.
Probably got work to do at that position. You and I agree there. And I wish I could give credit. Maybe you can tell me because you're a writer and I'm not. I wish I knew. I would like to attribute this quote to someone particular because damn if I don't use it, damn if I don't overuse it. And it's been one that's been floating out there for 20, 25 years, whatever it is, that maybe your most important ability is availability. And you got to say that about Steven Nelson. He answered the bell 16 times last year. Every single game he was there and he was ready to play. And that's an important part of it. So much so that I think you and I discussed this here. I'm pretty damn sure of it. We knew when the offseason rolled around that of the 5 starting positions, and I say 5 because you've got slot corner, and the Eagles are well maintained at slot corner as a matter of fact. But if you take it down to the other 4, the Eagles had 3 guys who were free agents at their 2 safety positions and their second cornerback position behind Darius Slay. And if I had to rank the 3 as to what, all things being equal, which we know things are never equal, right? We can always say that, but how many dollars it's going to cost you, length of contract, everything else. But they were all in a relatively similar boat. If I had to rank the guys I wanted back in order, it would have been Steve Nelson 1, Rodney McLeod 2, Anthony Harris 3. And I was hoping the Eagles could retain 2 out of 3. Well, it couldn't have gone much more to the opposite. They only retained 1 out of 3, not 2. And the one guy they retained was the guy I would have ranked 3rd out of the group at Anthony Harris. Now, the deals are the deals, and that might have actually been something to move the needle. The Eagles' evaluation of the player is much more important than Jody McDonald's. But that was not the way I was thinking or hoping it was going to go with retaining their DBs who are on the free agent market this year.
Well, when it came down to the safeties, I thought they were going to choose Rodney, but I think they made the right football decision. I thought they were going to, bring Rodney back because of his, importance to this team from a leadership standpoint, importance to the city from a community standpoint. But just from a pure football perspective, I think Anthony's a little bit younger. He's faster, less injury history. I think it makes sense. Jonathan Gannon's comfortable with him. So I was pleasantly surprised, actually. I think they made the right football decision there. Now, they probably got to get better at both positions ultimately. So we have to see what's going to happen in the draft at safety. With corner, you could tell the Eagles' plan, and basically it was, all right, we'll see what happens in the draft, and if we're not able to get what we want in the draft, we're going to come back to Steve. And they're probably looking at last year and saying, well, we got him 2 days before the start of camp last year. He's still on the market this year. Maybe it's going to unfold the same way. And all of a sudden, here comes Houston with 2 years and he's gone. So you roll the dice in those types of situations. I think they wanted to use him as a safety net, and somebody pulled it out from under him. So now they don't have it. But that's sort of the game you play, and they're not the only team that does that.
Right. And just my supposition, you've got Eagle sources, I don't, but reading from afar, I think it's some of the young guys, the Tay Gowans, the Vincents, the Sacherays that they have on the roster where they said, well, if worst case scenario happens and Steven's not there and we can't get a veteran guy and the draft doesn't fall our way, at least we have these young guys already on the roster. Okay. If you say so, yeah. I want to see it.
Well, if it's April 14th, I believe, and if they had to play a game today, Zach McPherson would be the starting corner opposite Darius Slay, and just be thankful that they don't have to play on April 14th.
150 days until we get to that first Sunday of the upcoming season, as a matter of fact. John McMullen, I'm Jody McDonald. I see our first guest of the day is getting ready to rock and roll with us. Always fun when we get to catch up with Marcus Hayes of Daily News and WIP. He joins us next here on Birds 365.